Howdy friends, and welcome to another campground review. Today we are heading about 35 miles north of New Orleans, Louisiana, across Lake Pontchartrain to Mandeville, Louisiana. From there we are heading southeast on Highway 190 to Fontainebleau State Park and the park entrance. The park is 2,800 acres and located on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. There are several trails, including a nature trail, and is not that far from the Tammany Trace, which is a wide paved trail for biking and such that runs through this region. The massive oaks that are adorned with Spanish moss are magnificent as you turn toward the campground. One can only imagine the stories they could tell of the things that happen right below them. Fontainebleau State Park sits on a former sugar plantation that was owned by Bernard Marini de Mandeville between 1829 and 1852. There are ruins of the old sugar plantation and a sign showing that this was the location of a former slave encampment, as they were the workers in the sugar mill. The nearby town of Mandeville was named after him, and the park was established in 1938 and was one of the first state parks in the state of Louisiana. The park was named after the forest near Paris, France, that was a favorite recreation area of the kings there in France. Fontainebleau State Park has about 145 individual campsites, some group camping areas, and a dozen cabins that can be rented, with 6 of them being ADA accessible cabins. The park took a major hit from Hurricane Ida in August of 2021, so the cabins were closed and had not been restored when we visited. Looking at the park map, you can see that it is color-coded to show which sites are improved with electric and water and which ones are unimproved. Be sure to reference the campground worksheet in the description of this video, where I have marked all of the campsites for you. We are not going to go numerically through the campground since it would be awkward and confusing to present it, but rather taking the main loop road all the way around the new campground and then coming through the parallel loop where sites 50 through 60 sit. And then we'll loop around the bathhouse there. After that, we'll go to the old campground and look at a few representative sites there, since a large portion of them are the same size and have the same features. Next, we'll take a look at some of the individual sites that are improved in the old campground. Sites 1 through 24 are made up of nice, large, improved pull-through sites that are labeled premium, and others that have just water and electric. Most of the pull-through sites don't have a drop-off from the driveway and are wheelchair-friendly or accessible. You can see that there's ample shade all along these pull-through sites along this loop. I didn't think there was a bad spot along this whole first part of the loop here. The back-end sites are less friendly for people with mobility needs, as the driveways sit on a crown and the drop-off or slope to the picnic tables are less friendly. You can see that many of the sites have new concrete pads, and these first sites are a comfortable distance apart. "17 is just across the road from 16, and a little bit different. Still good shade though. "24 was a nice site, but there was a drop-off making it not accessible." The unimproved sites, starting with site 25 through 48, have a lot of room between them and nobody behind them. So if you don't mind boondocking, these are some great sites with some privacy. Now we'll turn down the road that goes to all the 50s campsite. You can see a pretty big difference here. The sites around the bathhouse, numbers 62 through 76, are pretty close together. bathhouse is nice and is accessible, as you can see. Heading to the old campground, you will notice the old RV park looking layout where there is little room outside and the sites are somewhat packed together. We will look at a few, but you will quickly determine there's not much difference in any of these sites. The sites on the last road where the camp host is, site number 136, has some nice sites on it, and we will take a look at those. The park has a pretty large playground for kids, and there is actually some wheelchair access into the playground. If you have time, you can visit the Visitor Center for an in-depth history of the sugar mill that sits right behind it. Well, it's time now for some Cajun lagniappe, or a little extra. It's a bonus in the form of a quick tour. If you like to explore, then drive the 5 miles or so down the road to the Big Branch Marsh. It doesn't look like much until you slow down or stop and just look around. We witnessed some flying fish and were looking for alligators when we came upon this blue heron fishing with his speared beak. It is always fun to watch these skilled hunters as they either stab or grab their food and flip it up in their mouth. Keeping an eye on everything around us, I spotted what I thought was a strangely shaped bird coming towards us. As he got closer, I realized the shape was because he had a huge fish in his feet. This guy wasn't waiting to get home, and I watched him as he turned the fish in towards his mouth and swallowed the entire fish in midair as he flew past me. I'm not even sure how that royal tern did that. Finally, we located a couple of alligators. One was laying in the water and looked to be about 4 foot long, and he was taking a nap. The other gator was a good 6 foot, and he came up out of the water and slid up into the swamp grass and reeds and disappeared, which was great for us. At the edge of Lake Pontchartrain, we watched as the gulls landed to form a line, and then a brown pelican arrived and scared some of the group off. I think the pelican was maybe running for public office because he appeared to be giving a speech afterwards. Here is a great view of the New Orleans skyline and an entirely different type of wildlife over there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your visit to the Deep South and getting a taste of history and nature in the great state of Louisiana. Fontainebleau State Park was a beautiful place, and hopefully this short tour will help you plan your camping visit in the near future. Merci beaucoup for watching, and so until next time, au revoir.